Well, welcome to Teen Health Talks. I am Becca Wallace. I am the therapist at Central Middle School, and I am joined by two of our wonderful admin staff. We first have Dr. Lewis, who is our lovely principal, our strong
Yay!
leader. Yes.
Dr. Lewis.
Yeah.
And then we have our school counselor, Miss Jedrey, who's always looking out
Yay!
for our
Go
students.
Jedrey!
Hello.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today on Teen Health Talks. I want to talk a little bit about some of the challenges that we have gone through the past couple months. It's kind of been really hard for our community and our nation and our families and individually. And so I want to take a moment to talk to you guys about how you've gone through it and what that has looked like for you with your thoughts and your reactions and just some advice for our students and our parents and our community. So first off, we know that we have a variety of reactions to different situations. And for you guys, can you tell me what your thoughts and your feelings have been for the past several months?
Absolutely. I can get us started here. Miss Wallace, love you. You know that I'm so blessed to have you as a part of our team and family. It is absolutely a pleasure to be here and to have these conversations to hopefully add value and insight to the listeners. And so there are so many emotions that fill my mind as I'm reflecting on the 12-week journey and even currently as we sit. And so I think the first thing is making sure I have a circle of people who are incredibly positive. Lots and lots of optimism, not fake, but authentic conversations about what's real and what's happening, but also remembering how blessed we are. And so, the emotions with being a mother, being a wife, being a principal who is charged with taking care of children and school communities and families and such. It's an incredible burden, but a burden of love, I would say. So I guess burden wouldn't be the right word. I guess it would be a responsibility. Sometimes it feels like a burden, but when you love the work and when you love the people that you're working together with, it feels more of an increased responsibility and less of a burden. And so, in short, I would say lots of emotions, incredible amounts of uncertainty. But when you have a circle of people around you that you trust, who are committed to being um, real but positive and optimistic, I think that that's what's helped me get through, and I think anybody can do that. Just being mindful of what you're hearing, even with the news, being mindful of what you're reading, those things, and protecting your heart and guarding your space. Those things are important. Miss Jedrey, I'm going to toss it over to you.
Yes, and to piggyback off of what Dr. Lewis said, because I completely agree with that. I would say at first it was a major adjustment, and it seemed very stressful at first, trying to wrap your head around just how serious this was. I think the first when it really hit me was when they canceled all professional sports. I talked to my dad and he said, "Honey, never in history has this ever happened." And I think it was that moment when I just sat back and I said, "Okay, this is the real deal. This is very serious. This is going to change the way things look for quite some time." And what I would say is I am very blessed and very proud to see how collectively we all came together to rise to this new challenge of how are we going to continue educating our children online, virtually? How are we going to do that? And I would say it took us about 5 days to get the momentum going and to get things pushed out. And then after those things kind of started working and we saw what we needed to do and we got a pattern and a rhythm going, things kind of calmed down. And I hate using the word the new normal because I really don't want this to be the new normal, but it is for us right now. And as that, has continued, we've adapted. And I will say that one thing I'm very hopeful for is the resiliency of our children. Children are very resilient to things. And so I think inevitably this has more of an impact on us as adults trying to get the groove going with how this is going to be and what it's going to look like. And I just, I think a lot about our kids. And that to me has probably been the biggest thing, is not being able to physically see them. I am used to interacting with kids just as we all are on a daily basis and getting my hugs and getting those smiles. And that's been the hardest thing. But again, knowing that we're checking up on them, all their teachers are checking up on them. We are constantly getting feedback. We're connecting with the parents. We're connecting with the community. Those are all things that have made me very proud. And when I talk about that I'm in Galveston ISD now, I say that very proudly, because I think that collectively we have really risen to the challenge to get this done, still continue to educate our students while providing them services such as teen health, and consistently checking up on them. And again, having that, like Dr. Lewis mentioned, having the support around you. So when you're in an environment where people are supportive and your colleagues at work are supportive, it makes those things happen and you can really see the amazing results from it. So again, very challenging, but now I feel like we've got it down and we're making things happen with what we have. And everyone stayed really positive, which is awesome.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for sharing your thoughts. Absolutely. Lots of emotions, lots of feelings, and, lots of just recreating things that had happened, and the resilience that we have as professionals, as parents, as students. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for sharing your feelings. We all know that we use a variety of different strategies to cope. Can you tell me tell us what have you guys used over the past 3 months as a coping skill that you have found helpful? I know that you guys had mentioned having a good circle of people that love and support you, but have you guys used any direct skills?
So for me, and again, like I said, at first it was stressful and trying to figure things out and what I can do to kind of just get my mind in the right space, to take on every day in this new normal. And what I have found, is I've had more time since we've been at home. And so, for example, my dad had sent me this book a very long time ago, and it's called A Fearless Heart. And it's how the courage to be compassionate can transform our lives. And I had not had time to read it. And so as I have had more time now, this is what my daily reading. So I will go through and read these things. And just to give you an idea of like what some of the chapter headings are, the best keep secret of happiness, compassion. So again, going through these things, may I be happy caring for ourselves, just like me expanding our circle of concern. Greater well-being, how compassion makes us healthy and strong. More courage, less stress, greater freedom, making compassion our basic stance. The power of one, the way to make a more compassionate world, et cetera, et cetera. So I have really taken that in, and spent a lot of time going through that. And so just kind of getting a different perspective that I've never gotten on the whole idea of compassion and how we can show that and how I relate it to what's going on now, it's really helped me. And then another thing, and again, I've had these things for a long time, don't tell my parents, But this one, my mom gave me a long time ago, and it's Everyday Happiness, and it's very long. There's 365 ways, so every day you've got something. And I do take, the time and open this up and read it in the morning. And it kind of does, get my day started off right. So this one I just opened too, but it says happiness can be found even in the darkest of times when one only remembers to turn on the light. So again, when I start, my day, I kind of try to do the day started off to get that positive thing. Another thing, my husband and I have taken just more walks where we're kind of enjoying more of the scenery that we've seen every day. Like we walked around the block all the time, but now we're just kind of slowing things down, taking our time, making our walk extra long. I know Dr. Lewis is going to talk about her avid bike riding. I know she's going to talk about that. I've not gotten there yet, but I did run a mile. I have not ran a mile in a very long time. So and that's 2 times around our block. That's we measured it out. So I'm proud about that. I need to keep up with doing the running. So again, just staying active, keeping your mind active. And I know Dr. Lewis will talk about that because she's very avid about keeping our mind stimulated during this time, because as you know, when you're in the same, your home, you kind of start to get tired feeling or whatever. And there's things we need to do to kind of boost that up. I wish I could say I was eating extremely healthy. I've gotten better. Not every meal is extremely healthy, but I'm trying to be mindful of what I'm putting in my body a little bit more than I've ever been, again, because I had the time to kind of think about what, to plan instead of just, okay, we've got to hurry. So it's kind of slowed things down a little bit too. So I would say that's kind of what I'm doing here.
Well,
yes.
So it's, first of all, time is a gift. It is my most valuable commodity. For me, there is nothing more important than family. And I'm always working to figure out how to spend more time with them. And so it was a gift for me. And when it was placed in my lap so unexpectedly, I kind of panicked. I was like, whoa, wait, okay, what do I do? How do I manage all of this? It took me a while to understand what was happening and that I had to balance everything from, sorry, phone in the background.
You're
phone.
Good.
So it took me a minute to wrap my mind around it all. It was indeed a lot. A lot, if that's a word. Trying to manage high school student, an 8th grader, my older son being here when everything started, can I come home and manage cooking, manage keeping them busy and active and positively engaged. There is a misconception that because you have older children, oh, you're fine. That's not the case. You have to actively, positively, intentionally keep them engaged and learning and understanding that this time must be focused. We started out with setting goals. After this is all over, how are we going to be different? What's going to be different about us? How are we going to use this time to be better, to sharpen our saws? So my focus during this time has been, as far as coping, has been exercising, keeping them, on a schedule, a regimented schedule. I created a cooking competition. It's gotten relatively wicked. The competition, it gets a little ugly, but we started out with chicken, vegetable, starch, and so on. And so it's now been going on for 5 weeks. They're asking me, okay, what's the next competition? And we have small cash prizes. Now this is my 14-year-old, my 16-year-old, my 25-year-old. Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. And so family time, which means board games, Monopoly, cards, debates, conversation. I am a woman of color, and there are so many things going out there right now with the death of George Floyd and so many others that have lost their lives at the hand of the police or in other ways. And so we have very heated debates and conversations about that, about staying safe and what to do and simulations. Everything is centered around time with family. We haven't been able to go anywhere, so we make sure that we see each other in a very different way. We're learning about each other in a very different way. We pray and worship together. We're having communion again tomorrow. I'm sorry, on Sunday, just honoring and worshiping our God together. And again, respecting each other's time and reflection and learning more about one another. Um, Giving. We spend time giving of ourselves and understanding the importance of when you are blessed and favored, how do you share that blessing and that favor with others? How can you share the gift of Jesus? And that is our faith. How do we share that with others? And so my boys, started and getting ready to launch their own YouTube channel about being a dual sport athlete. So there have been now, and I say all of these things are happening, but it's work on top of what I do every day. Yeah, it's not like, hey, go start a YouTube channel. No, there's guidance and there's structure and advice and editing and all those things that need to happen. So again, setting the goals, intentionally deciding together as a family that you're going to be and become something different and something more refined once this is all over, praying together, exercising together, um, holding each other accountable. You said you wanted to be this person at the end of all of this. You said you wanted to talk better or learn how to shake hands more firm or whatever the goals were, and holding each other accountable. And so it's hard with a family of five being in one house and sharing restrooms and so many other things. But we've coped by respecting each other's space, praying together, exercising together, and taking a break from one another when it needs to happen. And being able to use our words to say, I can't right now. I need some space. I need some time, especially between husband and wife or significant other or partners or whatever that means. You have to be able to respectfully say, I can't right now, and I need some space. And so those are ways to cope. And of course, reading. And how do I get it in? When everybody's asleep. Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You read a page or two and then all of a sudden you've dozed
Yes.
off.
Yeah.
But it has been a great challenge, but it also has been an incredible reward that requires work. I wish I could tell you that I get naps in all the time. Yeah, I don't even know what that looks like. But what I will tell you is that this time is quickly coming to an end. And I have no regrets over the course of the last 12 to 13 weeks. I have intentionally spent this time with family because I don't know that I'll ever get this kind of time or reward again. And so I've used that time to cope and to be intentional and to know that I don't know if this time will ever come again. So no regrets.
Oh, beautiful. Well spoken, ladies. Thank you so much. You both hinted on empathy and having compassion for others. I saw that a lot. What are some of the reactions that you have seen, or what have been some of the needs that you've seen within our students, our community, for others?
Jedrey, you want to start? I just
Yeah, I
talked my
can.
head off.
Yeah, Becca, say that one more time.
What have been some of the needs or the reactions that some of our students and our partners or our parents have had through this?
Sure. So I think that the biggest thing that I've seen in regards to like our parents and students would just be getting again up and running online. I have to share this because I literally thought it was the cutest thing ever. one of our students' grandparents was trying to get information, and she sent her entire email in the subject heading of the email. And I didn't even know you could do that. She had like a whole paragraph and a half. The
That's funny.
cutest thing I'd ever seen. And I guess just to see our parents and our children's caretakers showing so much interest in what's going on with them. I've never, we haven't had to really see that, because it would just be a phone call, or the parent would stop in and make an appointment and we would see them face to face. So I think, just watching that transformation and the parents becoming more engaged with the online learning has been really, really remarkable. And same for the students. I'm trying to think, a lot, obviously mental health is huge right now with our children, and just making sure that we're checking in with those frequent flyers that we have already known about. And then just checking in with some of our students that may not have shown any signs of stress. But with the communication we have going on, it's been helpful, because the teachers have been able to say, Miss Jedrey, I haven't heard from such and such. That is unusual to not have this child be turning in work. Can you follow up, with that student? And so having, that open communication with everyone, including the administrative team, I think and seeing how that's impacted everyone and changed the way we've communicated has been really rewarding to see. So, the needs, again, knowing the students want to know that we still care. Even though we can't see them, we still care. So giving them that reinforcement. They care a lot about their grades. So, a text went out about report cards, and I got, within 10 minutes of the text message being sent out, because again, our schools, our social media platform is very beneficial, and our parents and students and staff use it. So as soon as that email went out and text message, I had a plethora of messages. So I want to check in, what's the grades? I'm going to get into Skyward Family Access and look. And just seeing those things has been really awesome, because we haven't really had to see it that much over the years. So again, the needs are still there. I wish we could do more of the therapy with them that I know that they're going to need when we get back. I know, Becca, you're able to do that more than me as far as doing the video. I'm not able to do that, but I'm able to connect verbally and through writing with the parents and the students and staff. So it's been nice to kind of be an outlet too. I've had teachers call me that normally wouldn't call me, just to talk, just to bring up some things, and they've kind of joked around like, well, I can say this because you're the counselor. I'm like, okay, yes. And I've just given them that, please call me, please connect with me, and they do that. So I think it feels good to kind of be in the mix with all those things, and being able to be a positive point of contact for our children, parents, and staff has been very rewarding for me.
Perfect. I'm going to move on to the next question. It's our last one. We'll make it real quick. What is some real quick advice, because we're running out of time, that you would have for our students and our parents going as they go through this, and as we go into the uncertainty of not knowing what next school year looks like, because we don't know what that looks like yet for us? What is some advice you have for our population out there?
The advice that I would offer is, one, to recognize and understand that panic, anger, frustration, feelings of tiredness, or even hopelessness in certain situations, just to see and understand that, recognize these are emotions that I'm feeling. I think that that's okay, but it's critical that you don't stay there. It's very important that you may recognize and see that I'm having these emotions, and what can I do to get over them or to get through them. And so I think sometimes we try to move past without recognizing this is how I'm feeling. This is the situation that I'm facing. And without putting a name on it or putting a label on it, sometimes we don't know how to get the help that we need, or how to get the resources that we need. My advice would be to stay connected with the school, be it social media, be it actually and physically going to the campus, or making a phone call. But continue to stay connected and know that we do care very deeply, and that we do have resources to be able to support what you're going through. Know that as a district, we are working behind the scenes on your behalf. And we want to make sure that you are well and that the children are well and that you are being prepared for the next level online, but that we're there for you. And I think the last thing, a piece of advice that I would have is just to use this time as best you can to embrace family. I know it's not time that's always welcomed, but know that it's not time that we'll ever get back, and use it to embrace family and love on one another in the best way that you can.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Ms. Jedrey, do you have some quick advice for our partners and our parents?
Yeah, so I 100% agree with everything that Dr. Lewis said. And my advice would be stay calm, breathe. When you get stressed, do your breathing. It's okay to to be in a place where you feel like Dr. Lewis had said, that you need some time to just debrief. And it's okay to say, I want to be alone with my thoughts right now. But then know that you have the ability to communicate and have the resources available to you to help you get through this. You are not alone. Children and our parents and everyone in the community is not alone. So I know we all say that we are all in this together, but that's truly what it is. And it's amazing to see people now start to see things that they've never seen before. And you start to appreciate things that you didn't appreciate before. And so just, being mindful of the amount of people that care for you, and the resources that are there is just what is going to keep us pushing and keep us getting through this, and looking ahead and being excited about what we're all going to take away from this and be able to make ourselves better.
Perfect. Wonderful advice. Thank you both so much for taking time to share what you guys have gone through, share what our parents and our students have gone through. Thank you for being with us and just sharing your hearts. And thank you for always loving on our central community and always being there for our students. I really appreciate that for you guys. So please join us on our next Teen Health Talks, and we will see you later.
Okay,
Bye,
thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, Ms. Wallace. Yeah.